Give the call to the honourable member for Holt.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Deputy Prime Minister. What are the continuing consequences for the Albanese government of the previous government's incompetent spending decisions in defence? Thank you.
Give the call to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence. Order. Order. Members on my right, I'd like to hear from the Manager of Opposition Business.
Well, Mr Speaker, to take up the point that the Leader of the House made earlier, how are decisions of the previous government within the current minister's area of responsibility?
I'll hear from the Leader of the House.
Thanks,
Order.
Speaker. To the point of order, the question begins, what are the continuing consequences for the Albanese government? That's the answer to the question that the Manager of Opposition Business just asked.
The question is in order. The first part is correct. The first part of the question is the key. I'm going to ask the Minister to make his answer relevant, and I give him the call.
Can I thank the member for her question, and thank you, Mr Speaker, and let me explain. This afternoon, the government will be receiving the Defence Strategic Review from Sir Angus Houston and Professor Stephen Smith, which is the single most important re-evaluation of Australia's strategic posture in the last 35 years against a backdrop of the most complex strategic landscape that we have faced since the end of the Second World War. The review has met with 150 different experts across academia, think tanks, defence industry and the Defence Force itself. It's received more than 360 submissions from the general public, and I have no doubt that the report that the Prime Minister and I are about to receive will be one of the most important works in Australia's defence history, and the government will take some weeks to consider this review before we announce an unclassified version of it, along with our response to it. But none of this happens in a vacuum, because the decisions that this government now has to make come on the back of a lost decade from the former coalition government, the worst national security government in our country's history. Now, time and again, we watch those opposite making decisions based on politics rather than policy, such as their decision to down-select the attack-class submarine program to one tenderer before they even completed the design, just so they could do a single press conference in the lead-up to the 2016 election. That decision alone cost the Australian taxpayer billions of dollars. It was an epic failure from a government which, when it left office, had 28 different defence programs running a combined 97 years over time. But the decisions of those opposite aren't really a surprise, because they never took defence seriously. 7 different defence ministers in the course of 9 years, underpinned by another 18 defence ministers over the same period of time. It was for them a revolving door. They could not have treated defence with more contempt, because for those opposite, becoming a defence minister was simply receiving a trophy. Well, let me say this. The Defence Strategic Review ushers in a new era of defence policy in this country, one where our decisions are rooted in proper judgments which are based in the national interest, a national interest which has at its heart keeping Australians safe.